Communication is one of those skills everyone thinks they already has, but very few people truly master. We talk every day, we text, we message, we comment, we argue, we explain, yet misunderstandings are everywhere. Relationships break, opportunities are missed, and conflicts grow, not because people are evil or stupid, but because they don't know how to communicate clearly and consciously. Mastering communication doesn't mean sounding smart or using big words. It means being understood. It means understanding others. And it means knowing when to speak, how to speak, and when silence is more powerful than words. Let's start with something simple but uncomfortable. Most people don't listen. They wait. They wait for their turn to talk. While someone else is speaking, they are already preparing their response, their defense, their story. Real communication begins the moment you stop doing that. When you truly listen, you're not just hearing words. You're noticing tone, speed, pauses, emotions, and what is not being said. You're present. People feel this immediately. When someone feels heard, they relax. When they relax, communication becomes easy. If you want to master communication, slow down. Speak slower than you think you need to. Most people rush their words because they're nervous or afraid of losing attention. Ironically, slowing down makes people lean in. It shows confidence. It gives your words weight. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is one of the most powerful communication tools you have. A pause after a sentence lets your words land. A pause after a question invites honesty. A pause during conflict prevents regret. Another simple rule: clarity beats complexity every time. You don't need fancy language to sound intelligent. The best communicators explain complex ideas in simple words. If someone doesn't understand you, don't blame them. Adjust, rephrase, simplify. That's mastery. Your body is always communicating, even when your mouth is closed. Your posture, your eye contact, your facial expressions, your breathing, all of it speaks. If your words say "I'm calm," but your body says "I'm tense," people will believe your body. Always. Eye contact is especially powerful. Not staring, not avoiding. Just calm, natural eye contact. It signals honesty, confidence, and presence. When you speak, look at people. When they speak, look at them even more. One of the biggest communication mistakes is trying to win instead of trying to understand. In arguments, people focus on being right, but being right often costs connection. Ask yourself, do I want to win this moment, or do I want to build something long-term? A simple shift changes everything. Instead of saying "you're wrong," say "help me understand your perspective." Instead of saying "that's not what happened," say "this is how I experienced it." This removes attack and invites dialogue. Tone matters more than content. You can say almost anything if your tone is calm and respectful, and you can ruin even good words with a bad tone. Before you speak, check your emotional state. If you're angry, hurt, or triggered, your words will carry that energy. You don't need to say everything you think. That's not honesty. That's lack of control. True mastery is choosing words intentionally. Ask yourself, is this true? Is it necessary? And is this the right moment? Another key part of communication is asking better questions. Good questions open people. Bad questions close them. Instead of asking questions that trap, accuse, or judge, ask questions that explore. Why did you do that? Feels like an attack. What led you to that decision? Feels like curiosity. People love talking about themselves. Use this wisely, not manipulatively. When someone feels interesting, they feel comfortable. When they feel comfortable, they open up. This is how trust is built. One underrated skill is summarizing. When someone finishes speaking, briefly repeat what you understood. So what you're saying is, this shows respect and avoids misunderstandings. Many conflicts disappear just because people finally feel understood. Mastering communication also means mastering emotional regulation. If you can't control your emotions, they will control your words. Breathe before you respond, especially in difficult conversations. A few seconds of breathing can save years of regret. Another simple habit: say less. Most people over-explain because they're insecure. Short, clear statements sound confident. Let others ask questions if they want more. Silence after speaking signals certainty. Storytelling is a powerful communication tool. Facts inform, stories connect. When you want to make a point, wrap it in a simple story. People remember stories far longer than arguments. But remember this, communication is not performance. It's connection. You don't need to impress. You need to be present. Authenticity beats perfection every time. One of the hardest skills is receiving feedback without getting defensive. When someone criticizes you, your first reaction might be to protect your ego. Pause. Listen. Even if they're wrong, there may be something useful hidden in their words. Master communicators don't react, they respond. Reaction is automatic, response is intentional. Communication also means knowing your audience. The way you speak to a friend, a partner, a child, or a colleague should not be the same. Not because you're fake, but because connection requires adaptation. If you want people to open up to you, be safe. Don't mock, don't interrupt, don't weaponize vulnerability later. Trust is fragile. Once broken, communication becomes shallow forever. Finally, remember this: communication is a skill, not a talent. Nobody is born great at it. It's practiced daily, in small moments, in listening more than speaking, in choosing clarity over ego. When you master communication, you don't just speak better, you live better. Relationships deepen, conflicts soften, opportunities appear. People feel drawn to you, not because you're loud, but because you're clear. And the most powerful part, you don't need to change who you are. You only need to become more aware of how you express it. That's where mastery begins. If this helped you, consider subscribing.